At Cooper's Hawk, our current success and future growth is based on a strong team of committed leaders striving to achieve their goals, and that vision depends on each of you. Over the next several minutes, this video will introduce you to the process of building your own individual development plan, also known as an IDP, which will help enable your continued growth as part of the Cooper's Hawk team. This quote is from John Maxwell. He's an author, speaker, and leader in the study of leadership. Individual development is a journey that builds upon itself, but in our modern day, on-demand culture, it can be often really challenging to commit to something that doesn't happen overnight. However, it is the day-to-day journey of self-development that will guide you on your own growth and success while supporting our success as a company. So what exactly does self-development mean? Self-development refers to actively seeking to develop your knowledge and skills through formal training, learning from others, and learning by doing. This could mean that you increase your knowledge and skills by attending a training workshop, learning from mentoring and coaching, or watching a YouTube video that coaches you on how to master a skill. Self-development is also one of the Cooper's Hawk leadership competencies, which we will talk more about shortly. Self-development offers several benefits, including enhanced knowledge and skills. When we attend training, learn from our experiences, and seek information to better ourselves, we get better at our jobs. This leads to better service for our guests and makes us better leaders. Engagement and retention. Learning new things keeps us more engaged and positive in the day-to-day of our jobs. This means you're more likely to be committed to a long-term relationship with the company, and others are more likely to follow your example and seek to develop themselves. Growth opportunities with Cooper's Hawk. Increasing our knowledge and skills and enhancing our performance will lead to potential opportunities to grow your career with Cooper's Hawk. Self-development is one of our key Cooper's Hawk leadership competencies because it helps to ensure that we are always learning and growing, which expands our ability to make an impact in our restaurants and at the Restaurant Support Center. It's good for you as an individual and for the future of Cooper's Hawk. Maintaining a commitment to self-development is not always easy, and there are two primary barriers that often prevent us from focusing on it. Lack of time. Studies have shown that in a 50-hour work week, most employees only have about 1%, or 30 minutes, to spend on their self-development. And that's not much time, and it's easy to be distracted by other, more important issues. Lack of goals and plans. We often do not set clear, specific, and achievable goals for our own development. Without goals and a plan for execution, it can be easy to lose sight of the importance of self-development among your daily job tasks. At Cooper's Hawk, we have a tool available to help you overcome the barriers to self-development, the Leadership Development Toolkit. This resource will provide you with a framework, process, and list of tools and additional resources to begin building your plan for growth. Let's take a quick tour of the toolkit to help familiarize you with what's inside.
The Leadership Development Toolkit is broken into two main sections, the Leadership Guide and the IDP Development Guide. Section 1 of the toolkit contains the Leadership Guide, which provides a list of the Cooper's Hawk leadership competencies. These competencies were introduced at Cooper's Hawk in early 2016. Each competency in this section is mapped to one of the 7 leadership principles, which align to our values, represented by the icons to the left of the chart and listed in the key. The competencies are also grouped to 4 levels of leadership within Cooper's Hawk: leading self for individual contributors, leading others for managers, leading managers for directors, and leading the organization for vice presidents and above. The 27 leadership competencies listed in the guide clarify the expectations of leaders at each level of the organization. A competency is defined as an observable and measurable skill and associated behaviors that contribute to workplace effectiveness and career success. Simply put, if you want to grow your career and future with Cooper's Hawk, you can use the competencies to help you develop to the appropriate level of leadership and performance. In addition to the 27 leadership competencies listed in the guide, there are other skills and behaviors that enable success and effectiveness in your position. These are called functional competencies, which are more tactical in nature. As you develop in your position, demonstrating the tactical skills needed for your job is as important as demonstrating key leadership skills and behaviors, like two gears running together. Section 2 of the toolkit contains the IDP Development Guide. The IDP Development Guide provides a comprehensive 5-step process to guide you in building your own individual development plan. As you work through each step, you will be asked to reflect on your skills, knowledge, behaviors, performance, and goals to create a plan that works for you. While you will refer to all of the sections in this toolkit as you begin to build your IDP, today we are going to focus on the information and process outlined in this section. Before we get into the details of the IDP, let's start with a quick story. Jack was a talented lumberjack who had been chopping trees for the last 3 years. One day, he was given a new axe. The first day, he chopped down more trees than he ever had before. However, over the next week, the number of trees he was able to chop down became fewer and fewer. Jack's buddy and fellow lumberjack walked by and asked him how he was doing, since his friend was looking a bit low. The lumberjack told his friend that he seems to be getting worse at his job. The friend asked,
"Hey, have you stopped to sharpen your axe?"
Jack responded,
"Why would I do that? I need to keep chopping down the trees."
"Isn't that just like us? Often too busy chopping at our trees to make time to sharpen the axe. This is what individual development is all about, taking time to sharpen ourselves, our knowledge, and our skills."
The IDP Development Guide provides a framework and process that will enable you to sharpen your own axe and build your individual development plan, or what we more commonly refer to as an IDP. But what exactly is an IDP? An individual development plan is tangible evidence to you, your supervisor, and Cooper's Hawk that self-development and leadership development is taking place. It is a written plan you designed to focus your self-development efforts on the learning you will need for your current job and prepare you for future opportunities and challenges. Think of your IDP as a career roadmap, a way to assess where you are right now and determine where you want to go and identify how to get you there. The IDP process consists of 5 steps to help you create a robust IDP. The 5 steps in the process are: identify your short or long-term goal. Assess your own development needs by assessing against the leadership competencies. Identify your development priorities, including the competency and associated skills, behaviors, and knowledge. Build your development activities. And achieve your plan.
Let's start with step 1, goal. While this seems like a simple step, anyone who has ever tried a new diet or exercise plan, only to give up a few weeks later, is familiar with how challenging it can be to stick to your goals. To help you create a goal that you can commit to, there are some specific questions you will want to consider and discuss with your supervisor as you work through this step. Identifying your short or long-term goals begins with having an initial career development conversation with your supervisor. The Leadership Development Toolkit provides a list of questions, like those you see on the screen, to guide that conversation. These questions, such as, what are your career goals, and what do you think you need to learn to be more successful in your current role or desired career path, will help you focus on what you want to achieve in the short term in your current role, or in the long term in a desired role. Anytime we set goals, we need to be sure the goal is SMART. Specific, clear enough that others can understand it. Measurable, goals do not have to have numerical measurements, but you and others need to be able to know through observation that you have completed the goal. Attainable, While goals should stretch you, they need to be concrete enough so that they can be achieved within the time frame designated. Relevant. Your short-term goals need to be aligned with your position or other positions you hope to attain. And time-bound. Setting a realistic time frame helps drive completion.
Once you've had a conversation with your supervisor and have written your SMART goal, you can move on to step 2, assess. Assessing your current development needs will help you determine where you are currently in relation to your goal. Think about it like a roadmap. You've already identified your destination by creating the goal, but if you don't know where your starting point is, you won't be able to figure out how to reach your destination. There are 2 great tools available to help you assess your development needs: the Cooper's Hawk Leadership Competency Cards and the assessment form found in the Leadership Development Toolkit. The Cooper's Hawk Leadership Competency Cards can be used to conduct an assessment activity called a card sort. This is an easy, hands-on activity that explores the competencies and allows you to see how you can best focus your development efforts. The card deck contains all of the leadership competencies listed in the Leadership Guide, including the skills and behaviors associated with the competency, as well as the unskilled and overused behaviors for you to consider. Using these cards and the divider cards contained in the deck, you can sort the competencies that pertain to your goal into novice, developing, functional, and experienced. After completing a card sort, you would then use the Assessing My Level of Development form to capture your results. This helps in the conversation with your supervisor as you receive feedback and make necessary changes. You can also use this form without completing the card sort activity. Simply use the competencies from the Leadership Guide in the first section of your toolkit, assess yourself against the 4 levels of development, and record your results onto the form. This form can also be found inside your Leadership Development Toolkit as well as on the Coop.
Next is step 3, identify. Once you have assessed your level of development, your next step in the IDP process is to identify your development priorities. As you identify your development priorities, you will select 1 to 3 development areas of focus. A development area of focus is something that, when strengthened or advanced, will help you reach your goal. Your supervisor will be a useful resource in helping you determine what your development areas of focus should be. Limiting your areas of focus will help keep your IDP manageable. For each area of focus, you should also identify some specific behaviors, knowledge, or skills that you will be working on.
That brings us to step 4 in the IDP process, building development activities, which will support you when you are strengthening your development areas of focus. Let's take a look at 3 types of activities for you to consider and the resource that you can use when selecting activities to incorporate into your IDP. McCall, Lombardo, and Eichinger, experts in the field of career development, determined that successful and effective managers receive about 70% of their development from on-the-job experiences, such as practicing on the job, taking on stretch assignments, or shadowing someone. About 20% of their development from other people, like their bosses, mentors, or experts. And about 10% from formal training, such as attending a class, reading a book, or watching a video. This means that as you make progress on your IDP, much of your development will come from things you're already doing on the job and from conversations and coaching that you'll receive from your supervisor. There are also additional tools and resources that are available for you to enhance your development as you work towards completing your own IDP and achieving your goal. The Learning and Development team has put together a recommended list of development activities. The activities include articles or books that you could read, or actual activities that you can complete to strengthen a competency that will help you achieve your goal. This list includes some websites or apps that you can reference that contain additional tools and resources. This resource will be frequently updated in the online version of the Leadership Development Toolkit.
This brings us to the 5th and final step of the IDP process, achieve your plan. Once you have worked through each of the first 4 steps of the process, then you are ready to begin working your plan. As you work on and complete development activities, record your progress on your IDP. Talk to your supervisor often, share your progress, and get feedback and coaching on your development. You will do this in quarterly one-on-one meetings as part of your individual performance conversations, or IPCs. Make adjustments to your IDP as needed. Remember, it is a living document, and you may find that you need to make adjustments to your areas of focus or development activities to stay on track. And don't forget to celebrate your success. When you achieve the various components of your plan, be sure to take time to acknowledge and appreciate your growth and development.
Now that you know more about the IDP process, both you and your supervisor have responsibilities related to the execution. Supervisors are tasked with enabling development by providing ongoing coaching, feedback, and resources. And these include explaining the IDP process and purpose, creating an environment for open communication, guiding career and progress discussions, asking questions and listening, identifying learning resources and activities, providing coaching and feedback, and uploading the IDPs to Paylocity. You play an important role in the process as well, including the responsibilities to self-reflect, to identify career and self-development goals, drafting an IDP with input from your supervisor, being open to feedback, implementing and owning your plan, and assessing your progress and initiate follow-up as needed. Ultimately, you are the owner and driver of your IDP. Focusing on your own development puts you in the driver's seat of your future and in a position to better support the mission and values of Cooper's Hawk. Your success and the success of our company depends on an ongoing commitment to meaningful development, and you are now equipped with the tools and resources you need to support that commitment. So, are you ready?